All right, so here we are. I'm so excited. It's Saturday morning, and here you took some time to come and hang out here together. We did a master call on Wednesday, and some of you might have been at that. I think Ted was there and Patty. But today's really a what I call an encore. I think that's in theater productions. They say you come back and you do another play it again, kind of a thing. But so I have no idea what I said on Wednesday, and I have no idea what we're going to talk about today. But I do know that I invited you here to hear about the Divine Dating Blueprint. And so I'm guessing that you were attracted to that topic or something about it. So while I'm warming up and filling the airtime for a minute, why don't you write down something that attracted you to be here or something you'd really like to receive today, or maybe you have a question. So if you're new to me, I have been hiding out for a little while. I've actually had my perfect customer business for since the year 2000. So you can do the math, a long time. And then I took a little vacay from all of this kind of stuff. But you know what? Just when I think I'm done, I get nudged, the divine comes and says, no, there's more for you to do. There's more for you to share. And so I did a class last fall called Divine Blueprint, and that was really great, which I shared about the strategy that I have for creating your life, more love in your life, etc. But you know what was missing was the word dating. And so this year I was like, you know what? I've been dating. I mean, and my husband and I ran this business for 13 years. I didn't start it with him. I had another business partner, but he passed away in 2017. And guess what? It's a whole new thing. So I've been dating back in the field, back in the trenches. If you've been dating, you know what I mean. And I thought, it was really, how can I help other people with what I've gone through? I have just really been through a learning lesson. And I love what you just said, Evelyn, that you were attracted by the word divine. And I think it's time to bring the divine into the dating experience. That's my goal. So you might have seen it in some of my emails that this is my bigger vision, a vision, kind of a statement. And now my dog is going to paw on my leg all through the call. My vision for this is to create mindful dating, like mindful, people with conscious women and men. So for us to be more conscious and bring more mindfulness to our dating experiences, because there's all kinds of things that happen out there, from ghosting, and I don't know, there's all kind of terms I've had to Google to find out what they even mean. But I just believe that we could be kinder to one another in that process. Yeah, I may meet somebody for coffee that isn't going to be my true love or anything, but I can be mindful. I can say thank you and appreciate them and enjoy just getting to meet people. So there's a whole lot of things around this topic that are really near and dear to my heart. So after learning more and more about this dating experience, I just wanted to get out there a little bit and share some of this and see who might be attracted to it. So one of the things that I would like to share about today is that what I found missing for myself in the beginning when I started to re-enter the dating, I mean, my mindset was really, I'm a married person. I've been married for a long time prior to that. And I didn't even know I was single after he died until Social Security sent me a letter and said, well, now that you're single or something like that, I'm like, what? I'm single? I'm like, yikes, I hadn't even considered that. I was so overwhelmed with, just the whole process of what happens after somebody leaves your life like that. And so gradually I dipped my toe in the water of online dating, and I found out, you know what, I wasn't really ready to date. There's kind of like dating, and then there's being ready to date. So regardless of where you are in that process, that whether you've already been dating some, or you're new to it, or you haven't been dating for a long time and now you want to, it doesn't matter where you are. It's about dating. And we even had, we had two of my dear friends join us on Wednesday who were very happily married to their husbands. But one of them said, "Can I come? I would like to kind of like go on a date with my husband." And she said, maybe some of these things might apply. I'm like, "You think?" After you've been with somebody for a long time, you kind of, get that familiarity thing going, and you forget, we need that spark no matter how long you've been together. Um, what the Divine Dating Blueprint is all about is, one, as you suspected, let's bring the divine, whoever the divine is for you, into your dating process. And that was new for me, to actually pray and meditate and ask for support in this particular area. And in fact, one of the things when I've met people, I actually have a prayer right before, if I've met somebody new, or maybe we've gone out for coffee or meals or whatever, more than once, and I'm interested in them, but I don't know, like I want to bring the divine into this experience. So before I go to sleep that night, I would say, "Dear God," praying to God or whoever is right for you, your higher person, purpose, self. Um, Dear God, if this is the right person for me, let them come towards me. If they're not, let's let them go on their way. And that saves a lot of mistakes and heartaches and that sort of thing. So I learned that the hard way, is that not everybody's meant to be my lifetime partner. And the other thing that I learned was about clarity. And so I'm going to talk a little bit more about that today, clarity and getting focused, because, obviously I'm not 20. I'm not wanting the same things I wanted back then. I'm who I am today. But like after my husband did pass away, I wanted to find out, who am I now? Like, who is this single lady I'm looking at in the mirror? So clarity, focus about what's right for me, and then having the confidence to get what I want. Confidence, clarity, focus. And then there's a really big one, inner alignment. And this has to do with the divine as well. And it's me with me, me and my higher self, me, inner alignment. Just, it's like anything else. If that inner alignment for me is off, guess what? It's not going to work well out there with any relationship. So having that inner alignment is also part of the divine dating group. So, okay, so Mark has a son and daughter, and they are adorable, I might say. They're 14, want them to be very,
Oh, I don't know if I wrote it right. Intentional.
go ahead and just tell us what you were saying. Yes, I'm not reading very well.
I apologize. So we have
Okay.
crew. Yeah, I'm not off. And so they're all like in the kids club with all other, 13 to 15 year olds. And it's very interesting to watch the social interaction from kids whose parents dropped them off there from probably when they were first started cruising at 5 years old, and just have that's been their babysitting vacation. And so they're very hungry for attention, versus our children who are overwhelmed with just like too much parenting, helicopter parenting, where they're like, I don't really need anybody else's love. I'm full. And they can just observe and watch. So I want my daughter, especially, and I should, my son too, to know how to be intentional with dating and attracting people that they don't have to, doesn't have to be a long-term thing, but just knowing, understand going into dating. So that was the first thing. But then you brought in the idea of rekindling our own marriage. And, that's been part of our thing with balancing and work, and especially working together for 12 years and married for 22. Dating her again sounds very exciting. So thank you for that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think that's really important. I had a private call. I do private calls with people. I'm very intuitive. So I bring in a lot of different things when I speak with somebody. And first thing I noticed is she was overwhelmed with other people's energies. You know, she's like me. I'm an empath and I like to take care of people. So a lot of times I take on their energies, and then it's hard to find where am I in this, you know? So once we started to kind of clear away the issues that she was having in her marriage really weren't an issue with the two of them as much as she lost her in the process. And so that's really important in the dating process is to keep in touch with who you are, whether you're dating or in a committed full-time relationship. So thanks for that, Mark.
Thank you. And we give that a heart.
Give that a heart. All right.
Mhm.
So before we go on too much, I'd love to hear from you of just tell me a little bit about what got you here today. And if you wrote down a question or something that you'd like to share, I'd love to hear from you. We're interactive, we're low key. Don't worry about doing it right. Just be you and you're marvelous. So who would like to share first? Janice, thank you.
Okay, well, I go a long ways back. You wouldn't know this, but I listened to you on a call with Janet and Chris Atwood. Probably, I was thinking in 2014, where you gave a presentation on the strategic attraction plan, I
That's
believe
right.
it was called. And I thought that is so good that she just added that extra, that extra question where you turned it around. So
Mhm.
all these years, I've remembered that. And I thought I've been very resistant to dating, even I've actually really loved being free, and it's been a long time since it was like 2006 or something. And I'm really very much into my work, which I've really enjoyed, and also to learning what you were saying about the inner alignment. Um, but when I saw your email, I thought, oh, well, she probably has a different take on this from, the tradition. Maybe I should listen to that. So it was just sort of an intuitive take, and I'm very curious to see what you have to say, and really like this new approach.
Oh, thank you, Janice, so much. It's true. It's true. For 20 something years, I talked about attracting perfect customers. And so my whole perspective was business, business, business. And every once in a while, I might do an attracting perfect mate call, but no, I'm like, no, stay in the business lane. But I have recently shifted, that's all I can say. Life has changed. So I'm glad you're here and thanks for sharing. Somebody else, what brought you here, or a question or anything that would help me to know more about you? So like, maybe Janice was saying she hadn't dated in a long time, and that's where I was, very similarly, that I was, had just not dated. And when I dated before, it was a whole different world. So we didn't have online dating, we didn't have internet, yada yada. So now I actually remember uh Ariel Ford, who is well known. She's just an amazing person. I was on her mailing list, and she was very kind to me. We connected early on in my business, and here she was doing a workshop on online dating. This was during COVID, and that's very hard to date during COVID, right? But that's kind of when it fell in my lap. Is that I'm trying to I'm lonesome. I could use a coffee date or just a human being or a walk in the park. But I actually took a workshop from her to learn about online dating. So ever since 2020, I've been an expert. I am. Now you can ask me any question you've got about online dating. I can help you with it. So yeah, I got back into the game and I learned through experience, what I'm sharing with you today is that one thing that I want in the mindfulness department is to remember when you're online dating, if you're now, let's just say I coached a woman, her name's Karen, and I'm going to do a testimonial on a video with her. I just got to get it done. But I saw her recently and I asked her, can I use you as a testimonial? And she said, yes, let's make a date and we can shoot a video on Zoom or something. Anyway, I saw her recently and we had time and she was introducing me to other people. Yeah, Jan helped me meet my husband. And when I first started working with her, she was in such a state of fear about dating. She'd been building her business for many, many years, and she lived in New York, and she had a dog, and she had not been dating. She had attempted one of the dating services like Match.com or something like that. But she told me right off the get-go, that very first appointment that we met, she said, I will not do online dating. I have done that. And I'm like, great, good to know. That it's good to know what works for you and what doesn't. Online dating may work for somebody, but it may not work for everybody. And so I think that's one of the steps in getting clear and focused about what you want is to know what I don't want. I don't want, like Evelyn says, I like to meet people in person. You never know. You could meet somebody at the grocery store in the cheese department. Who knows? But Karen was very adamant about that. And I just said, I'm not going to make you do anything that you don't want to do. Okay. I want you to think about all the things you want and then let the universe fit to you. And that's really what we're talking about here is that when I get clear about what's perfect and right for me, that's when it starts to come your way. You'll start to notice. At first, you may not be real clear. And maybe somebody comes onto your path that isn't really perfect for you. But it's good to start from home base going, what's right for me? What's perfect for me? What's ideal for me? However you want to say it. So in her case, no online dating. And she has a dog that's very, very important in her life. She wanted somebody that likes dogs. Okay. So next thing I know, we had a couple of weeks in between our gap of meeting together. She comes to the call and she says, I met somebody. I'm like, what? You met somebody? I'm like, you're kidding me. I want to hear about it. Well, she lives in New York. She was walking her dog in Central Park and she ran into a longtime friend that she hadn't seen in many, many years. In fact, she had been very good friends with that man's wife. And as a couple, they had been good friends of hers, but she had lost contact with them. Well, the wife, bless her soul, passed away. And now he was single. And guess what he's doing? He's walking his dog in Central Park. Anyway, the two of them went and I guess they had a coffee or a meal or something. Next thing you know, sparks are flying. But the interesting thing, I think that's even more interesting than that they just sacred synchronicity, as I call it, they ran into each other after she got clear about what she wanted in a place that's important to her, doing what she loves to do, which is walking her dog. And she met him. And when they got to talking back and forth a little bit more, before the wife had passed away, she had left him a list of women's names of people they knew that would be good for him, a good fit for him. And her name was the top of the list. So that was, I mean, the rest is history. They got married last year and they're very, very happy. And so I love a good love story like that. And so if you're thinking that you're going to have to do something you don't like, you don't. You just have to get clear about what you want and how you want it to go. Now, if you attract somebody, well, that wasn't a feature that I wanted on my list. I had written a list of what would be some qualities that I want. And then you meet somebody and you're like, they have a quality you don't like. Well, guess what? It was perfect that you met them and you discovered something you don't want. Does anybody know why? Want to care to venture a reason why that might be? Why
Lack of
would it
clarity.
be important to notice something that you don't want? Okay, Mark?
I just said lack of clarity about what you want, like where you're not quite, um, where it's vague, where your boundaries aren't clear.
Okay.
And sometimes people are thinking like, so I actually happen to know the person that you're talking about. And I remember before dating, the big challenge was how do I balance work and dating? And if something were to happen, like I couldn't imagine even dating because I don't imagine I'm too busy. I work too much to be married. That was what she thought.
Yeah.
So there's no way that I can have a husband, and I'm too old, and all of these other things, and none of that stuff was true. But first, she had to get really, really clear on that, and then even after they got married, like to watch the dating process for a very short period of time, I think 2 years or less, and then after they got married, they still have two different apartments in New York. They had, the whole figuring out the business thing is, but it was because of the clarity
Mhm.
that it's all able to work so smoothly. So I just think what you said, like what's missing, if you're more clear on that, as she got really concise about, oh wait, I can do work and here's how it can work. And mostly it's not even how, it was for her knowing what she wanted. That was the thing that she was struggling with. And so I think the same thing for me in dating, of seeing where I want my relationship to improve, is like, oh, okay, that's where the intention is. I got to get really clear on what that looks like. And of course, one of the steps of the strategic attraction plan is who I get to be. So that's what keeps coming up in my mind, is as I'm dating,
Oh,
who do I get to be to
yeah,
attract more of that from my wife?
that's right. So exactly, I mean, that is right on because I learned this is, again, I'm sharing personal experience in my dating process that when I wasn't clear, I attracted just anybody. I was in the early stages when I first went on to the online service of Match.com. I didn't even put my profile visible for a while. I mean, I just like, what is this thing? And what do people look like out there? So I kind of spied. And then one night, well, I went through my first holiday after my husband had passed away. It was terrible. I cried through the whole thing. And that night, my tears had subsided by then. And I'm like, you know what? I just want to be normal. I just want to meet people all over, and just get out there. I would love a coffee with somebody. So I didn't have a lot of criteria. And I remember somebody responded back to me and said, hey, you want to have coffee? I went, okay. And I was all nervous. And so I called a girlfriend before I went to meet him for the first time. And I said, you've been single a long time. What are your tips? You've done this, for a while. What's the free tip on this? And she said, don't stay more than an hour. I'm like, right. 1 hour. Got it. So I will go to the date and we're having a coffee and it was going well. We were just, he was chatty and I was chatty and it was just flowing back and forth easily. And so it was, at some point I went, what time is it? So I casually try to grab my watch or my phone or something and see what time it was. And it was like 10 minutes after. I've gone an hour and 10 minutes. And I think he was in the middle of saying something and I just blurted out, I have to go. So, start there. That's where it started, from that and then I felt kind of badly afterwards. And I'm reflecting and I'm like, what should I do? I just blurted out, and I think I interrupted him, and it seemed kind of rude. And my friend said, just send him a text and say, hey, I really enjoyed meeting you, or something like that. So there goes the learning, like dating became an opportunity to learn more about myself. And so certainly I wasn't feeling super confident in those days, and, on and on. So now, welcome to my kitty. This is Sophie. Say hi, Sophie. She likes the Zoom energy. All right. So as you go along into the dating process, you get a little bit more educated, and it helps to have some research in this area so that you learn what you want, what you don't want. And, I learned a lot dating my girlfriends, going out with them, learning what I wanted to do, what they wanted to do. Just being with friends is another way. It doesn't have to always be a romantic interest. So, okay, what are some of your questions? What are you noticing for yourself? Give me a little input, and welcome, Leduc, Ledoux. Is that French? If that is, I'm saying hello. Come on, it's an interactive call. I need to hear from you a little bit. Anything that you're noticing for yourself? Ted, thank you.
Well, so one of the things that I've noticed, and my daughter, who sort of coaches me, as a caring daughter about what's dad going to do, is that I've done some dating, particularly with a particular person, and um, we have a lot of likes, the similarities, but we also have some differences. And my daughter says I'm too accommodating. I'm I'm not compromising my values, but I'm doing things that I'm not my priority choice, and that I really need to get clarity on that myself. So I don't know. So I'll just be open to comments of what people would have. I think this might be related to one of your earlier questions. Anyway, I'll put that out there.
That's good. That's good. No, yeah, once you've met somebody, then it becomes even more important to have the clarity about what you want. So, in the Divine Dating Blueprint, and the master class that I'm going to be using that as kind of the basic structure. I've revamped the whole thing from what we used to teach years ago that was applicable to business, and I've rewritten it for these romantic relationships. And there's one of the steps, step 3, is about where I need to say what I want. And it's really a matter of, it doesn't matter what they want, it matters what I want. And a lot of times, if we're not clear about that, then other people's desires and wishes kind of wash over us, and we lose ourselves in the process. So this is part of the process of getting clear about what's right for me in this situation, whether you're dating one person or more than one. And so in one of the accommodating situations, Ted, what would you want your perfect date to expect of you? Do you want them to expect you to be accommodating to their every wish and desire? Or what would you really want for yourself?
Yeah, that's the question that I'm wrestling with, because there's a part of me that really would like this relationship to go better, go farther.
Mhm.
I'm not I'm really not seeking multiple dating. I don't know. I'm just sort of one person at a time type of guy.
Yeah.
Uh, and and so one of the questions I ask myself is, well, is this okay that we're different on this thing? But maybe there are more, I mean, there are a lot of people out there. Maybe there are other people that are more aligned with what I wanted to be doing all the time, that sort of thing. And, you know, I'm clear in my mind that I don't want another marriage. I mean, just, you know, I'm 80 years old, and it's like, there are a lot of issues, you know, as a lawyer, you understand the issues of marriage versus family and all of those sorts of things. And I'm wary of quote gold diggers, because I saw that happen in other situations, and it just it's like the wrong values are there. So yeah, I'm very interested in this.
Yeah, so there's, yeah, so I hear several things in that, like, you know, what's important in relationships is to have a strategy for communication with each other. So you want yourself to be able to have a way to communicate that works for both of you. So, you know, some tools in your toolkit on communication that would be important. Also, you're getting clear about what you don't want. And on the other side of what you don't want is what you do want. So financially, so like in this particular part of the blueprint, you'd want to be clear about what you must have to consider this relationship. And what happens is then when you start to get clear, that relationship will either grow stronger and blossom, or it might go away. And that's really the bottom line of it, is that you are learning about yourself. And I always say that I attract my mirror in people that bring me something that I need to look at in myself. And so every person that I meet, whether it's a date or otherwise, is actually showing me something about the dating situation that's true for me. So, for example, I need to learn to communicate better. I need to set boundaries that work better for me. And thank you to that person that is showing me what I'm missing that I need more of. And so it's kind of goes like that. It goes back to some relationship 101 that maybe you forgot about, or you didn't ever have, you know, you don't know. So that's what I would say to that particular thing. It's an opportunity to learn more about yourself. In the whole Divine Dating Blueprint, let me just tell you, the whole thing is not about other people. It's about learning about who you are. And to me, that's unlocking the gate, or the door, opening the door to self-love. And so truthfully, sometimes when we aren't having the experience we want, it's because I need to go back to the drawing board with myself. So that's what the Divine Dating Blueprint is all about. So just to, Evelyn, I see your question. So just tell you more about it. It's a strategy for getting clear about what you want. And it's a step-by-step process that I share. I used to share about it. I call it strategic attraction for attracting perfect customers. And so it's based on what I've been teaching I taught to, I don't know, tons. I have no idea, thousands of business owners from a business context. But in a personal context, it's a little different in that there's other things, but the same principles apply. Getting clear about what I want and focused on what I want makes a difference out there. In here reflects out there. If I'm getting what I want inside of me and I'm clear about what that is, I start to bring in what I want from other people. And so, and when it doesn't happen, it means there's some work to be done. And so it's also a healing process, is that sometimes it pulls up, you know, past things, you know, issues that were unresolved might surface. And guess what? It's an opportunity for me to heal those old wounds. And so it's just a place to start and get focused so that you can date more and have a better experience. Any other questions or comments? So one of the,
Well,
Yeah.
I can't stand silence, so I'm gonna
Thank
just
you.
jump in.
I thought I'd make you
I get it.
miserable until you spoke something out.
What? I'm sorry?
I said, I thought I'd just let it go quiet for a minute, and somebody always needs to.
Right,
Finally
I know.
share
That
some-
used to be if you remember the interviewer, Barbara Walters, that was one of her tricks for getting people you just have to take that extra beat. Well, but I don't want to, preclude somebody else from speaking, so,
We're
but
just
I've already,
you, so speak away.
okay, so I've already gotten a couple of ahas that I think are quite useful.
Okay.
One came from Mark, actually, when he was talking about sort of preconceived notions. For me, it's why I don't even enter the fray. Because I have these, I think what it all amounts to is a fear of rejection on some level.
Yeah.
But it keeps you safe where you are.
Yeah.
And then and also, and sort of relating to that, when you were talking about getting clear about what you want, and that would be part of the healing process. I think that's a really, for me, an important thing, because I don't know, because I haven't been in this arena, but I would guess a lot of us come I mean, by the time you're my age or somebody who's been around the bend a lot of times, you have a whole lot of baggage that you're carrying, and you may not even know what it is. And you just need to sort of be gentle with that in terms of oh, I know what I wanted to say. The other thing was that you had talked about when you this was quite a few minutes ago, about this friend of yours who helped you. And I think one of the concept there that I thought was really important was that you might need a support person. It's nice to have somebody. You don't go through this venture all alone. I mean, Ted talks about his daughter. I mean, it's just good to have somebody who can sort of have your back.
Yeah.
While you're going.
Yeah, absolutely. This really, you just struck on a point that was missing for me, truthfully, is just most of my friends were married. Nobody had experienced the loss of a spouse through death. Some of the women that I knew that were married were wishing they weren't. So you don't want to ask them about dating because they're kind of like, not interested. And so it kind of boiled down to what I really was missing was having a support system, like a community. And that is a big thing that I feel that that this would offer people if they were to join the master class, is you get to have a place where you're safe to speak what you need to speak, and you learn from one another, and it just makes it more enjoyable to have a community that understands what you're going through. My daughter was a great little cheerleader for me, but I was kind of embarrassed, like, she's been married a long time, and that's just not in her game plan. She met somebody in high school and they're still married. So I don't think she ever dated. So anyway, having somebody at this stage of the game is really important. Mark, you've got your hand. Thank you.
Yeah, after that Genesis share, I wanted to share kind of my big takeaway was from Ted. And like Ted, I'm not looking to date other people. I'm looking to figure out how the person I'm with and how I can date that person effectively. My person just happens to be my wife and the mother of two twins, and been married for 22 years, but we haven't dated much in 12 years. So we've done some dating, but most everything is all inclusive with our twins. So the idea of dating is really important, and the boundaries is what I was getting of being clear. Because I also am the same way. I'm very accommodating.
Mm.
To me, it's much easier to just say, you decide where you want to eat. I'll find something there. You decide where you want to go for the day for adventure. You pick the movie. I'll enjoy anything that you enjoy. I'll probably enjoy too. And it's not being run over, but understanding, okay, but this thing is important to me. And I know it doesn't make any sense to you, but I need some time of mine for this thing, and how to communicate that where I am from Mars and she is from Venus, to be able to say, I'll be all accommodating and it'll seem like I might be a little soft, but there's this one thing I just want you to understand is really important to me, and how to communicate that. So that was one of them. And then that whole, as you were talking about the reflection, that you see dating as a reflection. I was thinking about this last night, getting off of a beautiful 6-day cruise and then feeling angry on the last night. And it's one of the revolutionary agreements. I agree to look within when I react. And so I was like, well, what was my part in that? What can I do differently? Because we can't try to change the other person. Like, there's nothing that we can do in dating. I'm not going to try to change my wife after 22 years. I want to see how I can grow into the relationship still.
Yeah.
That's all. Thank you, Ted.
Awesome. Beautiful. Can we clone you, like to clone you and like guys like you and Ted, and put you out there for all of us ladies? So I appreciate all that input, and I really just I came out of hiding, you could say. I had left, I thought I'd left business behind, and I really felt passionate about this topic enough to come out and make some noise, let's say, about Divine Dating Blueprint, and how it might apply. And as you can see, there's just so many areas. It's not just in dating. It's really like that personal journey within, what's true for me? Where am I now? Dating myself is a good idea. I asked somebody asked a question and I copied it. I shared it last Wednesday at our call. Would I date me right now? That's a good question to ask. Would I date me? And I was like, oh, maybe there's some things for me to get ready before I date. But when you're ready, and I think it doesn't matter whenever, it's like anytime you have an impending event, a date is just one of those such things. I can't tell you what I go through. Oh, all the minutia in my head comes up to rah, 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 before I go to meet somebody in person for the first time, because these little phone things, where you go back and forth, that's safety. That's safety. This is not a real relationship. The phone. A real dating experience is when you meet somebody in person and you sit down with them. And so this is my free tip for that occasion. That is not a moment to decide if you're going to spend the rest of your life with that person. Okay, that's not it. It's just about meeting somebody who you want to be friendly with. Friendship. It's like we used to tell people in their building their business that our definition of marketing was building relationship. And this is nothing more when you go on that first meetup or the 10th meetup, it's still building relationship the whole time. And who am I building a relationship with? Anybody? Me. These people are serving me. Even the ones that broke my heart. I have had my heart broken because I just thought, I met somebody last year. I thought that was the one. It just felt like all the things were clicking. And guess what? It's over. And so my heart was broken. And even when it sucks to have a broken heart, on the other side of that, I learned so much about me. I learned self-love, even when my heart is hurting. I learned about all the friends that are out there that support me. Even though my heart is hurting, they still love me. I learned how to stand on my own 2 feet and be strong. And isn't that what you really want when you do meet that someone, is to be like two strong trees standing together? Not one, but two strong trees. You have both individuals, but you come together. And so what happened previously doesn't really matter. It's just what got me to where I am today. And I'm stronger, I'm wiser. I know more about what I want and what I don't want. I know what I have to have. And again, I prayed that prayer, even though I've been dating that person for quite a while. I prayed that prayer at one point when it was a little uncertain for me. And guess what? We broke up the very next day. So that prayer being, to my divine, if this is the right person for me, let them come forward. If they're not, let them go on. And so it looked like he broke up with me, but when I look backwards, I realized it was me being protected by my wonderful, many supportive, unseen friends and Holy Spirit telling me that was close, but it wasn't quite right. And maybe I'll go back to the drawing board and heal, and that person will too. Maybe I would reconsider, but I'm not counting on that. I'm just continuing on and learning in the process. So that's what the Divine Dating Blueprint is all about. It's about opening those doors that I believe are the most important for any human being on the planet, whether you're dating or not dating, or whether you're single or with someone or married or not married. It doesn't really matter. It's like a blueprint for life, a blueprint to live a more mindful life with your, be happy, self-love, opening the door to love, opening the door to your purpose, your passions, and just really learning how to follow that, and having a community that supports you in that new beginning. So that's kind of my lowdown on why I wanted you to come join me today. So any questions or comments, or what are you noticing for yourself at this point? And if you haven't said hello, I'd love to hear from you. If you can unmute, just say hi. You don't have to turn on your video, but feel free to ask or comment. Got a few people listening in today, which is fine. It's all good. Maybe something you heard resonated with you that you want to comment on. All right. Well, it looks like we're kind of I just wanted to put in the chat my little link for, I will send an email, but the link is in your chat box is for the masterclass that I did move the date. I was going to start April 4th, but now I'm starting April 11th, which is a Thursday, but it's 4 classes. And my promise to you is that you will transform your experience with you and your dating experience. If you choose to get out there and date, I can promise you that will shift. If you don't even date during the next 4 weeks, you will be more ready to be in some kind of a relationship that you might meet almost any place. One of my broken hearts over this most recent person is that he was a very avid snow skier, and I wanted to ski with him. And so I bought everything. We went skiing over Thanksgiving and Christmas. I hadn't skied in 13 years. I'm 70 years old and I'm on the skis, baby. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty good for this Grammy. And then we broke up, and Santa Fe, I live in Santa Fe, New Mexico, has had the most snow that they've had in years. So our ski area is just, prime skiing. It's 30 minutes for me to get there. And now I've got all this equipment and I don't have anyone to ski with. And I'm like really pouting about it. My lip was really out about that. And then one day I'm like, okay, rise above, quit poor meing. And I got a little pop-up email about the meetup groups. I had been on the meetup groups for hiking, but I'm like, I wonder if they have a skiing group. So I signed up for that meeting group for downhill skiers that ski during the week, weekday downhill skiers. And I clicked and I'm like, yes, I'm going. I'm like, I made a commitment to go. And I clicked on that and the day came. I mean, oh my God, was my stomach up between my ears that morning. But I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And I went and they were going to start at noon. I bought a half-day ski pass. And I thought it started at noon, but it didn't start till 1. So I get there, I meet the group. We're all really good skiers, by the way. They weren't babies. And there was one person who said, oh, I thought we were going to all meet since we were meeting at noon and have lunch. And they said, no, we want to get on the slopes. And I said, well, my pass doesn't start till 1 o'clock. And he said, well, I'm hungry. Jan, would you like to go have lunch? I met the nicest man who loves to ski, who we went and had lunch. We've been texting back and forth. I've been skiing with him since then. I kind of hurt my foot, so I was holding off on skiing. He invited me to come have soup up on the top of the slopes, even though I wasn't skiing that day. And I'm like, okay, so this is how it works. You just take risk. Take some risk. Get out of the comfort zone. Meetup groups is one way to do it. Find something that you're passionate about and go, and just don't go to meet somebody, just go to have fun and enjoy yourself. So I want to encourage everybody that's listening, that's here, and thank you for being here today, or anybody that's going to listen after today on the recording, that there's a whole new world waiting for all of us with this Divine Dating Blueprint. So I just want to invite you to join the class, and we'll have some fun. Maybe we'll all ski together, who knows? But that's really what my heart would be really filled with passion and purpose to be able to be part of a community like this. And so if you look, it includes 4 sessions. We'll come together once a week. I'm including as a bonus a free session with me where we can meet one-on-one. I'm really good. You should. Anybody that's met with me, that's a transformational experience. I'm super intuitive. I have spiritual gifts that I like to share when I get to know you a little bit better, but I see, hear, feel things. I'm a healer. I can help with your dating experience, and that one session might just be all you need. So you get that, and then I wrote a book that I'm going to include with you, an e-guide. It's digital, that has the digital or the whole guide in there. And then depending on how this goes, I will start a Divine Dating Blueprint monthly group of support. You can just come together once a month after the class is over. But in the meantime, I have another group. It's called Sacred Synchronicity Circle. And all of you would be invited to join that. We meet once a week. Once a month. It's low investment, it's free for you to attend for 3 months at no charge. And that'll be part of this package, which I priced very competitively. Actually, my angels gave me the number of what to ask you. I asked the divine for guidance on what to offer, and the price is $222. If you look that up on Angel Numbers, it's something about harmony and love and balance, and so it's a good thing. So it's good exchange, energetic exchange, I believe, for all of that. So I hope that you'll join in, and if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to me personally, and I'll be happy to talk to you. So anything before we close? Maybe just if you wouldn't mind just saying 1 or 2 words before we leave of what was most valuable out of being here today.
I want to thank you, Jan,
Oh.
for creating the space. I wasn't able to be here last week because again, I was out of town, but and everyone that you attracted here, it was just great to have everyone in the space in the container that you've created.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
And you're always a wonderful contribution. Thank you.
Yeah, and I wrote down earlier when you asked something we wanted to get, I wanted to get clarity on dating and find a person to share life adventures with. I mean, that's sort of the overall goal, not necessarily for this session, but I certainly, from what I've learned about what I already knew about you, but I think that this is a good opportunity to explore that and develop that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted.
And what's the bottom of your sweatshirt say? It just says love all, love you.
Love you,
Look-
mucho. I'm sorry, it was kind of spread out. Love you and love you mucho. Yeah.
I was wondering that too. Thanks for asking, Ted.
Love you, mucho.
No
Okay,
bad questions.
Janice, yeah.
Well, I mean, you've already heard from me on what I got in my house, but thank you for your enthusiasm, because I never thought I'd actually look forward to thinking even about this subject. So I find your enthusiasm very infectious.
Oh, good. It's like that.
Janice, I'm glad you brought that up because that was something else I was thinking, and it almost felt like it was coming as a download, Jan, around a barometer of where are you on the dating scale? Like, not even ready to think about it, especially, somebody who may have either come out of a divorce or a death, to somebody who's healing, to saying really enjoying being free and have been for a long time, not really considering it, to I'm looking for somebody, or to somebody like Ted, I'm with somebody that I'm happy with and I'm trying to figure that out, to somebody who's like, I'm with somebody and it's been a long time, I want to refresh that, to somebody who's like, oh my God, I'm at the end of my ropes, we may not make it.
My dog liked
Talk
that.
to you more about that later.
That was a confirmation for my doggy. Cool. All right. Well,
Okay,
thank
have a
you,
good week.
everybody. We'll say goodbye for now. Ted, did you want to say something? I didn't mean to interrupt.
Nope.
Okay.
No, have a great week, I said. Yeah.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye for now.